Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a review of the G4 video doorbell from Aqara. Now this is a relatively new product and is actually one of very few HomeKit compatible battery powered doorbells out there. That means you get things like Apple Secure Video straight out of the box, and of course you can access it straight in the Apple Home app. Now I picked this up myself a few weeks ago to replace my existing Eufy video doorbell. And the main reason for replacing that is that a video doorbell from Eufy isn't HomeKit compatible, and I wanted something that was HomeKit compatible. Now this doorbell retails at £120, which makes it one of the more expensive video doorbells out there, especially if you compare it to things like Ring by Amazon. However, it does come with 7 days cloud storage for video included, and of course you can also take advantage of your iCloud subscription and your iCloud storage. This means there are no additional subscriptions with this product once you buy it. This means compared to something like the Ring, it will easily pay for itself. It's also worth saying you actually get a chime in the box as well, which is really nice, and this chime acts as a hub and recording device. So let's talk about what you get in the box. So as I said, you do get that secondary chime, which acts as the hub as well, so you will need to plug it in. You also get a cable for that chime, you get some instructions, you get some fixtures and fittings, and then you get the doorbell itself plus an angle mount. You also get your first set of 6 batteries included. When it comes to design, the chime has a nice square rounded design. Like the doorbell, which you'll see in a second, it is dark grey and it just looks really modern. The back of it has a sticky pad if you want to stick it somewhere to easily just hide it out the way. The base of it has a USB port for giving it power and also a micro SD card slot. This is used for recording video, which is great because it's not on the doorbell device itself. The doorbell itself has a nice dark grey design with 2 large circles on the front. The top one of these is the camera and kind of motion detector, and then the bottom one is a large press button with a light up light around it. This indicator light is great for drawing attention to it when it's dark and it detects motion. On one side of the doorbell you will find a cover under which is a screw for removing the doorbell from the mount. That little screwdriver you need is also included. You'll only ever need to do this when you want to change batteries. What this means for design is that whilst it is one of the larger video doorbells out there, I actually really like the design. And one of the things I really like is that button is nice and big and clear, which means even the most incompetent drivers can actually see that button to press. So let's talk about specification. So firstly, this device is powered by 6 AA batteries. If you want to, you can also power it with an AC-DC transformer. Now, if you do go for the powered option, you will still need to keep your batteries in there as a backup. Now, with those 6 batteries, Aqara say you will get 4 months battery life out of it. This, in my opinion, is massively overestimated. And what I've been finding in using it for the last few weeks is that battery performance is nowhere near as good as that. Now, if you look at Aqara's product info, they have actually based this on a certain use case. And they basically say this is based on 35 device wake-ups a day and 6-second video recordings. That means the busier the area is outside your home, the less battery life you're going to get. For me, that means I've actually decided to opt for a powered option. You can also see the battery level in the Aqara app and also in the Apple Home app. It is worth saying that you will get a notification when battery life is getting low, so you know to replace those batteries. Continuing on with spec, out of the box, Aqara give you 7 days video storage in the cloud. This is great because there are no fees and this allows you to access this wherever you are. This includes footage if the device is tampered with because it does have a tamper detection. If someone does try and tamper it, it also makes an alarm noise on both the chime and the device itself, which is loud enough to put someone off. Of course, with that video backup, if you have a decent enough iCloud storage plan and the Apple Home app, you can actually go further back than those 7 days thanks to Apple iCloud video storage. And whilst this product is certainly geared towards Apple users, it does also support streaming to Google and Alexa displays. At the time of recording, Aqara have also said they're planning to add Matter support in the future. And as you'd expect for an outdoor device, it is IP rated for outdoor use and is protected against all kinds of weather. When it comes to the actual video, it has a 162-degree left to right angle and shoots 1080p full HD video. It also has infrared night vision. This covers a huge amount of width, but not a huge amount of height. That means it won't cover your doorstop for parcels being left there. It will of course capture the person leaving it there. As I said, it's got a built-in tamper detection system and will sound an alarm if it's tampered with. Alongside that, it will capture the video for that as well and send that straight to you. And then both the Aqara app for Android users and the Apple HomeKit app support facial recognition. And this is really clever, especially with Apple HomeKit. And if you use this with Apple HomeKit, you can give your Apple Home app permission to access your photos. That means in your Photos app on your iPhone, if you've assigned names to some of the photos you've got, it will automatically recognize and suggest those people. That means when I get home, it regularly tells me that I am at the door. This is really impressive. Of course, as with most video doorbells, it has a microphone built in and a speaker so you can communicate with people at your door when you're not at home. Aqara also offer a feature in their app where you can disguise your voice for privacy if you really want to. The chime itself has a 95 decibel sound, which is plenty loud enough for hearing it around your house. That chime also takes a memory card for local recording, and it can take a memory card up to 512 gigabytes. This is great for storage, especially as it stores that video on the chime and not on the doorbell itself. This puts it inside your house. And then finally, the doorbell also supports IFTTT if you do use that service. So that's spec done, let's talk about setup. So setup is relatively easy and is best done in the Aqara app to start with. The app talks you through the process, including setting it up in your Apple Home app if that's what you want to do. Now, one thing I actually found myself needing to do during the setup process is to factory reset it because something went wrong. And in doing that, I discovered that Aqara don't really tell you how to do that in any of the instructions. So if you do need to factory reset it, the back of the doorbell has a button that you need to long press for 10 seconds. That will reset the doorbell, and then to reset the chime, there's a button on top that you need to press quickly 10 times. You'll then get a voice telling you that it has been reset. Once you've got it set up in the Aqara app and the HomeKit app, it's time to mount it. And I'd recommend doing it in that order so you can preview the video and make sure you get in a good range. And you can mount it in a couple of ways. You can mount it using the provided screws and raw plugs or the included sticky pads. The sticky pads are on the back of the mount as well as the doorbell mount. That means if you need to angle it, you can still use the sticky pads. This is what I opted for. And then once you've got it all set up and hooked up, you can choose how you want to receive notifications. You can also set areas you'd like to detect motion. So let's talk about what it is like to use and how you get all that up and running. And I'm going to talk about using this as an Apple user because I think most people purchasing this over things like the Eufy will be purchasing it because it is HomeKit compatible and they want to use it in the Apple Home app. And for the most part, you can do everything you need to via the Apple Home app in the settings for the doorbell. There are a couple of things that you can only do in the Aqara app, and I'll talk about those as well. And as with many products, this isn't actually the fault of Aqara, this is due to limitations of the Apple Home app. One of those things is setting up the tamper alerts, which you want to do in the Aqara app. It's also in the Aqara app where you can change things like the chime noise if you want to as well. And then the Aqara app also has a couple of bonus features. This includes the ability to change your voice and also add a kind of automated voicemail. This is an automatic response you can record that will play when someone rings the doorbell. Personally, I don't think you want to do this, especially if you're going out and using it as like a voicemail thing, because that doesn't sound very secure to me. That means everything else from this point on is mostly done in the Apple Home app, although you can achieve the same things in the Aqara app. I do, however, think the Apple Home app has a better interface for doing this. And of course, it keeps everything in one place. And so let's talk about notifications to start with. So the Apple Home app lets you choose whether you want to receive notifications for people, animals, vehicles, and packages being detected. This is to do with motion detection and not to do with people ringing your doorbell. You will of course get a notification when someone rings the doorbell as well. Each of these generally contains a thumbnail image as well, which is great for helping you decide if you actually need to do anything or not. The great thing as an Apple Watch user is this also comes through on my Apple Watch. If you've got an Apple TV, you also get a little still preview in the top right screen as well. In using this, I found that these images come through pretty much all the time, even when using mobile data. It's only when I've been in places where there's really weak signal where I haven't had the image to accompany the notification. Of course, you can then go back into the Apple Home app and go back through those notifications to see what really happened if you did miss that thumbnail. When you get that notification, you can click through, especially if you're on your phone, and this will give you a live feed. Now, the speed at which this loads will depend on the data speed if you're out and about, or on your home Wi-Fi speed. What I have found generally though, however, is that it loads quicker than the Eufy video doorbell feed does. From this screen, you can also scroll back and browse various clips and also select dates at the top to see clips. This just works really well. And in part, this is thanks to kind of Apple's ecosystem and the way Apple designed things. It's also through that live feed screen you can choose to speak to someone, perhaps to tell them where to leave a parcel. Communication is clear and it's great to have this on the device because that's really what makes a video doorbell worth having. It means you won't miss parcels because you can tell people where to leave things. One of the really clever things is when that facial recognition comes in because it will recognize who is there. So quite regularly when I get home, it gives me a notification saying that I am home, not just someone is at the door. Again, this is something I have been really impressed with and works every time. If you use HomePods around your house or HomePod minis, you can also set them to chime when someone rings the doorbell. This is great because it gives you chimes all across your house as well as notifications. You can disable this if you don't want to. It's also in the Home app you can set motion activity zones. This is great if you live on a busy street and want to limit where you get notifications from. Again, this works well. And whilst both the Aqara app and the Apple Home app offer ways to achieve all of the above, I actually think the Apple Home app does it better. Of course, that's down to personal preference, but I think the interface is clearer, and also having everything from my home in one place is really nice. This also means I can click through to my Eufy HomeKit back garden camera from the same place. I also get a little preview of all of the above and how old that preview is when I open the Home app. So all in all, what's the verdict on the Aqara G4 video doorbell? Whilst it's not the cheapest video doorbell out there, the advantage of it coming with a chime and being HomeKit compatible alongside there being no requirement for extra subscriptions actually justifies the price in my opinion. The video quality is really good whether it's day or night, and notifications come through nice and quickly. With its Apple HomeKit integration, I'd actually say this is the perfect video doorbell for Apple users. And this is largely because the Apple Home app lets you manage it all in one place and is easy to use. The only downside of this, in my opinion, is the less than impressive battery life. And of course, this is going to depend on how busy the area is around your home, but for me, it does seem to be eating through batteries. Of course, if you do own your home and you can make holes in your door frame, you can do what I've done and just use a power supply, and you can pick these up for about £10. I put a link below to the power supply that I went for. And of course, if you're not an Apple user, or if perhaps you use Amazon Echo devices around your house or Google Home devices, it also supports those, which is great for compatibility. If you do want to pick one up, I have put a link below. That link is an affiliate link, so if you use that link, I get a small portion of what you spend, and that just helps me keep making videos for you guys, because this isn't my full-time job and I don't get paid to make these videos. If you've got any questions, do stick them below and I will answer those, because this is a product I've purchased myself and I use. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys again soon.